This episode of the Lori Talk-Tarski Morning Show is produced by CMJW Entertainment. This episode is brought to you in part by MHA of Dutchess County, Harmonious Healing, Bagel World, and Angels of the Andes.
Mental Health America of Dutchess County and Reviver Entertainment Group present The Sound of Nashville in the Hudson Valley's Queen City. Featuring headliner, Grand Ole Opry member, and CMT Award nominee, Craig Morgan. With supporting acts, two-time Grammy nominee, Maggie Rose. Finalist of Season 19 of The Voice and Hudson Valley native, Ian Flanagan. Viral sensation, Jake Banfield, and special guest, Broadway to country star, Brooke Moribro. The Sound of Nashville, one night only. Tuesday, October 6th at the Bardavon Opera House in Poughkeepsie, New York. Visit bardavon.org for ticket information.
We at Angels of the Andes are proud to partner and support the Lori Talk-Tarski Morning Show. Our mission is to create brighter futures for children living in Peru's highest peaks of the Andes Mountains by supporting families and schools with essential resources and reminding them that there is always hope for tomorrow. Each year, we also bring the gift of Christmas, rooting children in joy, faith, and the love of Jesus, while reminding them that they are deeply cared for behind their mountains. For more information and to donate, please scan the QR code on the screen and visit the link in the description. 100% of your gift goes directly to the mission, helping families where they need it most. Together, we can continue reaching the highest peaks.
Feel tight in your shoulder or lower back? Let us fix it for you. The massage therapy releases energy and improves circulation, contributing to overall well-being. Our unique approach to massage therapy will help your body work better so you can live better. New clients get $10 off if they spend $60 or more. iFoot Spa, located in Wappingers Falls. Book your appointment now. Flavors of India in Wappinger, New York is your go-to destination for premium Indian cuisine. Featuring a diverse menu showcasing authentic Indian flavors. Every dish is crafted with the utmost care, using only the freshest ingredients to ensure a delightful dining experience. Each plate is a celebration of Indian culinary traditions. Visit Flavors of India for an unforgettable taste of India's rich heritage flavors. Flavors of India truly has authentic dishes that are bound to tickle your taste buds. Indian cuisine is super popular worldwide, and it's not hard to see why. It has this unique charm. Once you try it, you'll be blown away by all the rich tastes and flavors. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is the amazing variety of spices used in Indian cooking. The magic of Indian food really lies in how you use the spices. It's all about the right techniques, like roasting or frying them whole or grinding them into a paste. This way you can unlock different flavors from the same spice. You can trust Flavors of India. Every dish tells a delicious story.
Sun, Soil, and Ancestral Foods. Join Veterans Farmstead and Poppy's Smoke for our summer farm dinner, benefiting our veterans program. The event will be happening on Patchwork Quilt Farm on Saturday, August 22nd. Taste our Texas-style barbecue and learn more about how we service the service community in the Hudson Valley. You can scan the QR code on the screen and visit vetfarms.org to learn more. Veterans Farmstead, reconnecting service members to nature through Sun, Soil, and Ancestral Foods to ease their challenges. Join today.
Good morning, rise and shine to the iconic light. Coffee in one hand, confidence in the other. So my coffee mug today says she led a life of endless possibilities, and I'm just blessed to kind of be in a place like that right now, and I'm just really living God's will for me and just opening my mind and heart to endless possibilities. And here we are honored to have Justin Riccobono, integral part of the Hudson Valley community. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your mug?
Sure. Thank you, Lori. My mug is my Veteran Farmstead's mug, which is a program that we have over in Ulster County. We service veterans here in the Hudson Valley. And I have a picture of my dog, my lake dog, Chuck, on here, who passed away a few months ago. What's really meaningful about this mug here is a veteran who stayed with us last year. He and his wife made a couple of these for me.
Oh, beautiful.
So we have them at the farm, and it was a really nice gesture for everything we've been able to accomplish.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the incredible program in place right now that you started?
Sure. Well, Lori, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And just to let you guys know, what we've done is we started a nonprofit called Veterans Farmstead. This just got launched this past April, but for the last 3 years, we've been running some trials and programs. My father and I are both veterans. My dad's a Navy veteran, Vietnam era. He was a cook in the Navy. And then after he got out of the Navy, he used his GI Bill to go to the Culinary Institute of America here in Hyde Park. And that's why my family is in the Hudson Valley, from the Hudson Valley. He's from the first graduating class in 1974.
That's amazing. And the culinary, as many may or may not know, is very prestigious and very
Absolutely.
well known.
And was started as a vocational school for GIs coming home from World War II.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
before they were here in Hyde Park, they were in Hartford, Connecticut, and then they had moved over. So my dad was part of the first class here in the Hudson Valley. He's been a chef his whole life. Myself, I'm an Army veteran, 13 Bravo Field Artillery from 96 to 2002. I was stationed down at Ground Zero for about a little over a month after the events of 9/11.
Never forgotten. Yes.
Never forgotten.
Never forgotten.
And my father and stepmother bought an old farm over in Gardner, which is right at the base of the Shawangunk Mountains. And they started a bed and breakfast in 2007. It's got 4 rooms, bed and breakfast, and everything was going pretty well until COVID. Things changed quite a bit. And I was living in Beacon at the time. I ended up selling my house in Beacon and moved out to the farm to help with the succession program of the farm.
Just a minute. Let me kind of ask you a question. When you were
Sure.
in Beacon, were you involved with the bed and breakfast in any way, or you were just kind of living your own world, and not world per se, but doing
Sure.
your own thing?
I was doing my own thing. So my history and background, I grew up here in the Hudson Valley. I went to college in Rhode Island. I went to the University of Rhode Island for 4 years, and then I moved into Manhattan. I lived in Manhattan. I was in sales. I was in technology sales for about 10 years, and I lived in Manhattan from 98 to 08, and then I moved back up to the Hudson Valley, landed in Beacon. My dad and stepmom bought the place in 06, and I would come up on the weekends when I was living in the city to help them out, and that was kind of the start of, I got to get back up here. And I was
Right.
getting tired of the rat race,
Of course.
working for corporate America, and I really wanted to get more into agriculture and farming. It was something that was
It just
calling
always
to me.
spoke to you, or it came to you, or as a young person? I mean, did you ever?
Not really. I mean, as a young person, not in particular. I mean, I've always liked to cook just because I've been around my dad and my family. We're Italian, so everybody cooks. But not really in the agriculture arena at all. And for some reason, I just found that I really wanted to start understanding where food comes from and growing my own food and learning about, because I joined a CSA in Beacon,
What's a CSA?
a community supported agriculture.
Okay.
There's one called Common Ground Farms, which is down at the Stony Kill farm.
Yes, I think I've been there.
Which is right in Beacon. And they did a whole thing, and I was eating vegetables that I'd never tried. I almost never tried before. The tomatoes taste completely different than any tomato you can find at a grocery store. And that really started things up. I had met a girl who was very heavily into horticulture, so I started working with her and helping her on a lot of her projects, and we were handling a lot of estates down in Garrison and Cold Spring.
It sounds very interesting.
Very interesting, beautiful. I mean, starting working with plants, and at that point, I just found like that's what I want to do. I don't want to be in the office anymore.
Right, I can
want to be
definitely
outside.
relate. Yeah.
And that was probably the first part of like the healing process through nature for me, and I kind of felt it firsthand.
Now, from your time in serving the country and whatnot, did you suffer, like many veterans do, a lot of the post-traumatic stress, the different emotions, the different things with mental health challenges?
I have some mental health challenges, some post-traumatic stress, primarily from being out stationed at Ground Zero. I never really thought about it before. I've never considered it as being a problem because I was never sent off to war. I never thought that was something that I needed to even consider because I was lucky enough to not have to A, go to war, B, have significant trauma from war, from a war theater, and never really, it's kind of there's a survivor's guilt component that falls into post-traumatic stress. And it could be somebody even that does go off to war, but, comes back with all their limbs or comes back alive. But where we know other soldiers have not
Right.
had that fortunate.
Mhm.
So that's always a part of something that I think most veterans have is survivor's guilt.
Mhm.
And it's something that definitely hit me a little bit because I never really considered myself to even qualify to have a problem. But then after,
Right, you didn't allow yourself
right, I didn't allow
almost
myself to
because you didn't feel
understand.
like it was like you had done enough or,
Mm.
but yet that's an incredible thing you did by being serving at, 9/11, and all that.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long road and it's been interesting, and I continue to learn more every day. And I think the Lord has blessed me with a purpose to help others,
Right.
and other service members. And we have started this program at the farm, which my parents were, like I was saying before, were running a bed and breakfast for many years. And then after COVID, everybody started discovering the Hudson Valley. They were moving up in droves. And then in 2023, we noticed that our numbers were dropping significantly on our bed and breakfast lodging. And after doing some research, I noticed that, okay, now we have 200 plus Airbnbs in the neighborhood,
Right. So
which was,
got very competitive.
yeah, it got very competitive. So we were figuring out what we were going to do. And my dad and I came to the conclusion that what we want to do is help out homeless vets, help them get back on their feet, and convert our bed and breakfast into a nice transition housing for veterans, whether they're coming out of substance abuse or just not having a place to live, and helping them get back on their feet. Putting together a 6 or 10 month program, and it's changed over the years. So we started doing that for 3 years. In 2024 was when we first started. We accepted our first homeless veteran who came in to the farm, and he was interested in farming and learning about farms. His family had a farm down in Puerto Rico, and
Oh, wow.
his goal was to get back down there and learn some skills. And he was with us for 8 months and was
There must have been
ready to go.
an enormous bond that takes place during that time.
It does. We take a very non-clinical approach to this process. I mean, myself, my father, and stepmother all live at the farm, so we have our own quarters on one side per se, and then the veterans are on the other side. But they become family. Anybody that stays at that farm becomes family with us, and we're there for them and help them out, and really sit down and identify their goals, aspirations, and what they want to accomplish within 6 months. Because a lot of times if you are in a homeless situation, most likely you're behind on a lot of different things.
Right.
And
It's a whole process to get back on your feet.
yeah, and things are compiling. So we help them kind of go after each one by one, and help them get to the point where by the end of the program, we find them a place they could live, have permanent residence as well as a permanent job. And
So you have a lot of resources.
We have a lot of resources, and we connect them with resources that, whether it's the VA or MHA, for instance, or some of the other various agencies that work with veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been working with a lot of people from the community that want to help out and want to get involved. And our whole thing is healing through sun, soil, and ancestral foods. So on our farm, we
Can
have...
you expand on that a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So on our farm, we have... we have a very large garden that we cultivate our own crops, garlic, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, greens.
Wow,
cold
I could
crops.
really use a salad right
Yes, yeah, we do, and we do a lot of medicinal salads. So we also teach people on things that are just growing wild in the yard that you could actually pick and put into your salad, like dandelion greens or a couple of different stinging nettles. There's a couple of different things that are edible or can be used as tinctures for teas that are extremely healing for the body. And
In what capacity?
Well, like purslane, for instance, is a wild succulent that grows on the ground, anywhere, and it has very high in omega-3 vitamins. So eating that, it's fresh, it's from the garden, it's from the earth, it's not sitting around for a while. So one of the benefits that we found that we wanted to bring to the program, because of my dad's culinary experience, and we've been around food and kitchens our entire lives, is teaching people how to cook. A lot of people don't know how to cook or have forgotten or more quick to go out to eat, but you could save a lot of money eating high quality foods if you're cooking it yourself, and if you're cooking it in its natural form. So not adding a lot of sugars, staying away from seed oils.
Right, and that affects everything, because I've learned from my journey that what you eat and what you ingest affects your mental clarity, affects the way your body digests, affects like everything. It's all a component of how we
Absolutely.
operate and how we, regulate and all that.
Well, the gut biome is extremely important, and we're learning more and more about this every year. But the gut, a lot of people consider as the second brain.
Yes.
So that gut health is very much connected to the mental health and your brain. So having those, the right biology operating in the gut. So people eat a lot of fermented foods to help achieve this success. And if you go and you take antibiotics because you were sick or something, that will actually wipe out your entire gut biome. So to recalibrate it, eat stuff like kimchi or sauerkraut, pickles. Also there's a lot of different yogurts that are very good for you.
With the probiotics.
With the probiotics. But, you got to be very mindful and do your research in terms of what to eat, because you don't want to have some high sugary yogurt that really doesn't have those types of benefits.
Yes.
So, when we teach people how to do that. So
it's
a
so
lot of
important
nutrition.
with education, because I know with things that are challenges in my life, so many people aren't aware of the different things involved. And I think what you are doing also in your mission is to educate people on, different things as far as the healthy foods and the healthy living and living collaboratively within the physical, the mental, and the spiritual.
Right. For us, everything's interconnected. We're all interconnected. We're a biological species of this planet, and we need to reconnect. And in today's day and age, with so much digital and synthetic systems out there, we're moving further and further away from source. So we need to find that good balance that really a lot of folks really don't talk about.
Right. It's synthetic rather than authentic.
Right. So, and I'm not saying, throw away your cell phone, stop watching television. I mean, do them in moderation, just like anything else.
Right.
So, we try to live on an 80-20 rule, like try to be 80% pure and 20%. Hey, if you want to have a piece of cheesecake every once in a while, okay. Try to only spend
cannoli.
Or a good cannoli. Try to spend 20% of your time, only 20% of your time during the day scrolling or watching television or being on the computer, which I know can be rather difficult, especially for a lot of people's professions, because they sit in front of the computer all day, and it can become quite problematic. They're inside, they're not in the sun. I mean, the healing of the sun, you're getting pure vitamin D.
I call it divine sunshine.
Divine sunshine, it is.
Yes.
I
And it's
agree.
so important. I've always been very much, a sun worshiper. You have to be careful with that as well. You have to be balanced, because what could possibly happen. But I just feel so much calmer, so much more connected to universe and God, and so illuminated.
Absolutely. And the proof is in the pudding. We've had about 20 veterans come and stay with us over the last 3 years, and we've had.
Tell me a little bit about some of them, like as if each one's
Sure.
individual. Tell me a little bit about their stories.
Well, some of them have had. Everybody's different, so everybody has a different situation, just like every one of us.
Right.
We're all a specific imprint of who we are, and we've had some veterans that have had some combat. They've gone on 3 or 4 tours, and they've gotten hit with IEDs, and have had tremendous
IEDs is
incendiary device. So these are like bombs,
Wow.
road bombs, and stuff like that, which are some of the typical ones that you would come across, encounter when you're driving through towns, in a war theater. But some of them have had, a number of explosions, which create traumatic brain injuries or TBIs, as well as some post-traumatic stress. So what ends up happening is this brain trauma ends up creating a lot of confusion, and misremembering can occur as well. And then there's a lot of miscommunication that occurs with family members after the fact, or they don't feel like they fit in, or they can't do anything, or they have to go back to the war theater because that's now the only place that they feel normal.
It kind of sounds like my experience when I've experienced mental health challenges from my bipolar condition. When I've been in the hospital, sometimes, when you come out, you don't feel understood. You don't feel,
Right.
accepted by society. You feel like that's the only place you can go. But yet that place creates post-traumatic stress and creates all that, everything else, so.
Right. So it's identifying and recognizing that, number one, you're not alone. And most people on this planet have challenges, mental health challenges.
Yes.
I really don't think anybody, if you're human, doesn't have a mental health challenge
Right.
one day or another. I mean, it could be something very simple, or it could be something very very technical or sophisticated or unknown, and it can be very difficult. So, understanding that, seeing what some of the actual roadblocks might be for you to be able to kind of accomplish what you want to do, and then find those resources to try to help mitigate and manage that.
Right. I think there are many. I think we're getting, in many ways we are progressing as a society. Certain ways we're digressing.
Yes.
But the ways we're progressing, we're finding more solutions. We're actually getting back to things that once
Right.
worked. And we're trying to bring them back to the forefront, like holistic measures, things of that nature.
There's a lot of studies out there that show just working in the garden with your hands and getting them into the soil, directly connects you and can have tremendous healing effects, not only from post-traumatic stress, but also physical.
Yes.
And, could help, I don't want to say cure specific diseases, but help mitigate those, because you're now kind of reconnecting to the biome of the earth, and we're part of that naturally. So
and you're seeing something flourish. You're not only is the flowers flourishing and the plants, but you're flourishing.
You're flourishing. You're bringing life to to whether it's a plant or working with animals. Another thing is we have chickens and rabbits and honeybees. So people working with those creatures, it's amazing, because there's no judgment. There's no preconceived judgment. There's no, the chicken's not going to look at you like you're, some weird individual.
Right.
We also, one of the great things, with my dog Chuck here,
Yes,
he was a great companion. And of course, there's a lot of programs that are partnering up veterans with post-traumatic stress with service dogs. And these animals show absolute compassion, and there's no judgment, and it's also shown to be very beneficial.
Yes, they're so loving.
So we'll help guys. We're service members and veterans. Connect with some dogs, service dogs also, if that's something that they're looking to do and feel that it would help them on their journey. And it's been great.
Yeah, Justin, you're doing a gamut of things. I mean, you really are. You're delving into all different things to really serve. You're serving once again. You really are. You're serving the community. You're serving the earth. You're serving all of society. So, where do you see this going? And what are some of your hopes? And what do you see that may be a barrier?
Well, funding is always a barrier. So we work with a couple of agencies right now that help us with emergency funds to help house the veterans. We also do a number of workshops. So we probably serve close to 250 veterans, their families and friends, and other people from the community that come to various workshops that we host at the farm.
How do you bring them in? Do you advertise? We
advertise on Facebook. We have a listserv. We do a couple of other things. One of the other big things that we have is a commercial kitchen on the farm that we built. My dad and I built, and we opened up a small barbecue stand called Poppy's Smoke.
Yeah, I think I was blessed to have that outstanding brisket.
Yes.
And those eggs from the chickens. It was unreal.
Sure, thank you.
It was like $100 meal, and I snuck in complimentary on that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to, maybe we have to raise our prices. I don't know. Well, I mean, our whole thing is cooking from scratch, and we do a Texas style barbecue, which is strictly spice rub only. There's no high fructose corn syrup. If we do use any sugars, like in our cornbread, we use honey, which is local.
And that comes from the bees.
It comes from our beehives. And if we don't have enough, we usually get some from a neighboring farm. Honeybrook Farms right up the road from us. We like to try to do everything very local. So our maple syrup, we deal with Pancake Hollow, which is a farm right down the road also in Highland. So we do a couple of different things, but we try to stick with those sources and not using, some of the processed sugars that are out there as well, or even
those things are
or even like
very
the sweet and lows and stuff like that's even worse. But again, everything in moderation, even like the honey and maple syrup. You want to be just drenching everything with that, but we try to stick with that, and then we use beef tallow as a fat that we cook with, and it's basically a beef fat, and we render it down. We use that instead of vegetable oils or anything like that. We use a lot of olive oil, and we'll also use some avocado oil and coconut oil, which are good oils to use if people at home are thinking about how can I start to get away from seed oils. Those are the ones that are the best ones you could start with. The olive oil, you got to really take a special look at, because there's a lot of blends, and sometimes they blend olive oil with canola oil and some of these other vegetable oils and pass it off as so you want to use like an extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. And typically I don't cook with that too much. Sometimes I do because I'm Italian and that's what we've done.
Yes.
But it's better for fresh, using it on salads and stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas the tallow, if I'm cooking with beef and whatnot, I'll use the tallow as my oil, or the avocado oil or the coconut oil.
Right. So it's being open to learning new ways that are more
Absolutely.
effective, more healthy, that will sustain life, we hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prevent inflammation, reduce inflammation. A lot
Right.
of these seed oils are being tracked to promote significant inflammation for folks. So these are some of the things. So we started this up. We do a catering program. We raise money through the catering to help operate our program. We do a couple of dinners a year, and we also
Don't
do
you have
pop-ups.
one coming up?
We have a dinner on the 22nd coming up, which is our farm dinner, where it's a beef initiative, which we work with a farm.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Yeah.
But we have Kiernan Farms, which is right down the road from us. They're a partner farm of ours. They're about a mile down. They raise grass-fed beef, and we'll be using their beef for the fundraiser. And people were of course looking for sponsors and folks if they want to buy a ticket.
And how would people get in touch? That would be great.
Let me grab one of my. You can check us out on vetfarms.org, vetfarms.org. That's our website. It's still in production. I'm kind of a one-man band. Me and my dad and some other people have been helping out. But this is our sponsorship program, and then I also have.
So it says summer farm dinner. A veterans. My vision is
Veterans benefit sponsorship packages, August 22nd, 2026, and you can find this information on our website. So feel free to check it out at vetfarms.org. You could also follow us on Facebook at Veterans Farmstead, as well as Poppy Smoke, and you can kind of see where we're located in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
This tomorrow, Thursday, we have 2 pop-ups going on. One at Kiernan
What's
Farm.
a pop-up?
A pop-up is we just pop up and like a food truck or a food stand. We just set that up somewhere at a special event.
Okay.
So the 2 special events that are occurring tomorrow is we have at Kiernan's Farm on Brunswick Road. We're doing a hamburger event. They have a band coming out.
That's all organic.
It's actually we actually use their ground beef. I picked it up yesterday, so today when I get back to the farm, I'll make my own specialty blend. Which I put some spices.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, from what I've learned so far, he's an excellent cook. Excellent cook.
My dad helps out too, so it's been great. So we'll post up there and we'll cook up burgers, and they do like a pre-order on the burger, which is actually quite interesting way that they've done it. So like the last 2 weeks that we've had this event, they're doing 4 weekends or 4 Thursdays off the summer. This Thursday, and then in 2 weeks from this Thursday will be the last one. But we've sold out every time before the event even starts.
That says a lot. That speaks volumes.
So we're selling like 50 hamburger orders before we even walk on the property, which has been great. The other one that we've been doing for the last couple of Thursdays, and it's every Thursday, and I think we have 3 more events, 3 more Thursdays left, is the Rhythm on the River, which is in the town of Shawangunk, which is Walk Hill, New York.
Now try saying that 10 times.
Shawangunk. And that is that they have a band that comes down, and it's free, and we just set up a food stand, and we do our brisket. We sell our brisket, chicken, and we also do a cornbread, which is out of this world. So we do a pan-seared cornbread, and then we'll actually put like a cream cheese frosting on top.
Oh wow!
For that, so that's a little decadent. So, and you don't want to eat too much of that, but it's nice, and it's all
moderation.
It's all in moderation, and it's all natural. So we do
you have
a couple
a lot
of those.
going on. You're just, it's unreal. You have so much going on. You have great ideas, and an idea, you just have to be persevering and, see it through. Keep your eye, no pun intended, on the vision.
Right.
And what I wanted to get at, I wanted to kind of go back a little bit. some of the vets that have come through
Right.
and you've housed and helped rejuvenate and get back into the communities and whatnot.
Sure.
Do you keep in touch with any of them? Do you know how they're
course.
doing? And once again, as far as each person being very unique, maybe you could share one or two very profound stories of one or two people that have come through, and also tell a little bit about how you've kept in touch and how some of the people are doing now.
Sure. Well, yes, we keep in touch with all our veterans. Again, once they land at the farm, they become family, and we want that to be very much inherent in our program, and so that anybody that does come there, they feel that they're not, some kind of a mental
Another
patient,
number
or another number or whatever, and that they're actually, joining a family and taking some time off to heal at their own pace and get back on track. So I told you about the one veteran who, he was homeless. He was down in Montrose. This was our first veteran. I wanted to learn about farming. The VA called me up. One of the guys at the VA called me up and told me about this case and about this service member, a veteran, and that he was currently homeless and living at the shelter. So he had interest in what we were doing. We brought him up. We helped train him in some agricultural programs, and he actually worked at Kiernan's farm also.
Oh, wow.
They have both not only they not only raise beef, but they also have a vineyard there. So the Brunswick Winery is part of their program or part of their farm. So he worked with them on the winery and started through the season and ended through the season. So we ended up doing the whole grape harvest. And then his goal was to reconnect with his family down in Puerto Rico, which we helped him do, and he moved down there, and he's farming. He's farming down in Puerto Rico. Yes, it was the first time that we started this, and it was our first test on this. And the nonprofit wasn't started at that time. We were working with a couple of other agencies, and but it was something we wanted to do as a family in transitioning our farm into helping others. And then last year, that was 2 years ago, so that was in 2024. So 2025. We had a number of guys come through, some long-term, some short-term, and that's when we found that this was more than just helping house homeless veterans. It was also a mental health program.
Oh, yes.
So we would have guys that would be in crisis, and they would maybe come by just for the weekend, just to cool down.
Kind of like a respite.
Yeah, respite. We talk it out. We talk to them. Maybe we'd bring their family in if they were comfortable enough to doing that, because a lot of times post-traumatic stress is not understood by the family members. So trying to help educate
Nor
them.
mental health issues.
Or mental health issues. And then, package that in with a veteran service member who was in a war theater and, doesn't, can't really explain to their wife or children what they went through, or nor do they maybe want to even explain it. And then there's a lot of communication issues. So
now, why do you call it this? I don't mean to, but why do you call it a war theater? What do you mean by war theater? What is that?
Well, war is in military terms. The war is there's different theaters of war. So,
Okay.
like in World War II, which most people are familiar with, there were two theaters. There was the Pacific Theater, and then there was the European Theater.
Okay.
So, like when active war is going on, they refer to it as a theater.
Okay.
So I'll say like war
Gotcha.
theater.
Okay,
Sorry for
gotcha.
the
I didn't.
miscommunication.
No,
but sure.
I wanted to know. I like
that's-
to learn things.
That's fair, and a lot of people may not have understood that either.
Right.
One gentleman had gone through 6 different tours. Four tours. Two in Afghanistan, 2 in Iraq, and he had come back. Gosh, maybe 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of his didn't hit, and he was a National Guard member. And then he was doing a lot of the local National Guard stuff, being set up on a mission down at like Grand Central, securing, some of these stations, just being there, for many years. And then then his service time was up, and he started having a lot of challenges, a lot of mental health challenges, and not feeling normal, not feeling like he could really do anything. His body was starting to break down significantly.
Wow.
Because he had been doing a lot of training. One of the things he was wearing was the flak jacket every day. He was wearing that vest, which was like 20 pounds. And now that he took it off, his body wasn't used to it. So his body was starting to break down and deteriorate to a certain degree. and this is something a lot of people don't even really consider. He never considered it, and it was never even really being discussed about. So now he's having all these ailments that are starting to pop up out of nowhere because now his body is readjusting and readapting to something else. So that was something we noticed, and we talked a lot about it. And of course, we got him back into the VA. But before we found him, a team member of his ended up finding him in Newburgh on the streets.
Wow!
And he was in such he was in a lot of disarray. He was in a lot of pain. And he was in so much pain that he was considering stepping in front of a train.
Wow.
And one of the family services agencies called us up and matched us up with him, matched him up with us. And it was great, and we connected immediately.
So you're actually saving lives, so to speak. You're setting out to save lives.
One life at a time, and it's one person at a time. And some could be not as extreme as maybe the gentleman, the veteran who we helped get back to Puerto Rico, but then some of them could be in a significant situation like the one we just spoke about.
You're not you're not a therapist or a doctor.
I'm not.
Right. So do you bring those clinicians in at all? I mean, through the VA agencies and.
So we've had a couple clinicians come through. A lot of the clinicians we deal with are at the VA. So, one of the things we did for him, obviously, was, he was homeless for maybe 4 months when he came to us, and we dialed him right into the VA at Castle Point and sat down with him and his doctor. I also, I'm a peer specialist myself,
right, and
work with the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration out of Saugerties, and we kind of really just try to connect them with some of the people. I'm an advocate, so the guys when a veteran comes to the farm and we do hook them back up with the VA, we make it imperative that we're advocates for them as well, so we can sit down with them and the doctor.
Because when people are in that kind of state of mind, they can't always advocate for themselves.
Right, and plus, if they're staying with us, we want to make sure that they're on the right path. And if the doctor's saying, "Well, you need to do this, this, and this," or "Stay away from this, that, and the other," then we'll help achieve those successes. And we sit down with the doctors at the VA, and they've been very helpful, and we talk about how we try to do a lot of natural healing. We've had veterans that have come in with on 18 different medications, and a lot of it becomes so systematic that these medications start interacting with each other and create
and they all have
other hosts
side
of
effects
problems
and very
side effects.
Dangerous ones sometimes.
So we've had guys that have come. We've had other guys come through that have been on opioids for 15 years, and their teeth and bones are deteriorating because of long-term use. So we've helped a lot of guys get off of some of those things through some natural methods in conjunction with working with their doctor.
Right. So it's kind of like integrative, and I think that's becoming more and more.
Absolutely. We're not doctors, and we're not trying to be doctors. But my father and we've had a tremendous amount of benefit by eating certain things, and even dandelion greens having tremendous benefit. So we try to share those stories with others, and then also sitting in with the doctor and saying, "Hey, look, we want to try to maybe a local approach." I'm not saying someone could get off their medications like that, because some medications are
some
important.
people need.
So we would sit down and talk with the doctor and say, well, what do you think? Or, could
kind of make out a plan.
Make out a plan. Could we start working off of this one and dialing back on that, and we'll see what works.
Right. Sit with the doctor and assess each person.
Yeah. So we've had a couple, so these are different scenarios. We've had, a veteran that had come through this year who was in a crisis with his girlfriend. They had kind of tried getting back together a couple of times, and it was getting to the point where he needed to get out of there, and he kind of felt trapped. And that's something that we try to offer with our housing, is getting back on their feet, because it's a tough time today. Everything is extremely.
Homeless people.
There's a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of everything is very expensive. So just getting back on your feet is very difficult.
Just staying on your feet.
Right. So let alone getting back. So we give them the opportunity. We work with a couple of agencies that help with the emergency housing. The veterans do pay a little bit each month, but it's a significant. It's not that not that much. So they could actually help start saving up. One guy who's with us right now, we help him get a new car. We help him get a job.
Oh, wow.
So, he's on the right track. Another guy, we help him get squared away to the point where he's now in a 6-week training program for heavy equipment, and they're going to line him up with a job. So, one day at a time.
Is
all we
this
can say.
limited to vets? I mean, do you see it maybe expanding?
As far as the housing side of it, it's something that is very important for us because we know that there's a lot of vets that are on the street. So we really want to try to have that component as far as the Veterans Farmstead is concerned. But as far as like the Healing Through Sun Soil Ancestral Foods and the workshops, we find it to be extremely beneficial for mental health, for anybody and everybody's mental health. So we're starting to work with a lot of first responders as well, because they also have very similar PTSD issues as veterans, maybe a little bit different, but very similar. And then
I think
also
a lot
other
of
folks.
people have the post-traumatic stress disorder just from trauma throughout their lives and different things. So.
Right, absolutely. And being able to help them reconnect with nature is it's really the bigger thing that we're trying to do. And everybody from the community, not only veterans, not only for service member, first responders, but anybody that could benefit from our workshops and our education, and even just the farm, just being there and enjoying the birds and the sun.
Oh, the birds
and the
are bellowing.
It's a tremendous experience for anybody to come visit, and I put it out there for everybody. I mean, we're an open book over there. Our full vision, is to really try to replicate what we're doing across the country. When it comes to veterans and being a veteran, serving this nation never ends. That's an oath that we take when we first join up, is that even when we're done, you're still going to be there for the nation if it's in crisis and in need. And we're at one of those pivotal points in history of mankind, for that matter, because we have so much digital and synthetic systems happening out there. People are I think becoming more and more stressed out because we're moving further and further away from the biological beings that we are. And we can only process so much. So as veterans, we also feel that like the food system in this country is a big part of it.
Oh, yes. My doctor told me that by 2030, if it hasn't happened already, 75% of Americans are going to be obese.
I think we're there already.
Right.
The numbers are extremely. They say 70% of military-aged men wouldn't even be able to serve because they wouldn't be able to qualify. And the food system, we feel it is a national security matter. And what better? We have farmers that are aging out in this country, and children aren't really being pushed to take those reins over. A lot of people are thinking about it. A lot of people are trying to do it. But what better than a veteran or veterans being transitioned into that arena of food, and taking the reins and protecting our food system for this nation.
Right.
And you have industrial farms trying to squeeze out all the organic small farms. So our big thing is trying to create a local regional food shed. Here in the Hudson Valley, we have some of the best growing conditions in the world. I always refer to it as the Tuscany of New York City.
Lovely.
And we can grow just about everything here with the exception of citrus and avocados, but we don't necessarily need that to survive. So there's been a tremendous movement here in the region. And
I think
more
that's the
people
thing
getting
we have
involved.
to say, that there is going to be a tremendous movement. I think
it's happening.
that's what
It's been
people are
happening.
looking for.
It's been happening. I think it's growing. I think there's this Make America Healthy Again, the
Right,
MAHA
light-minded people, I say.
stuff, which is trying to deviate from synthetics and go back to natural. The thing with the natural foods is there's only so much of a shelf life. So you can't buy stuff and sit on it for months on end.
Right.
Which most of the stuff at the grocery store is over a month old.
Right.
Even the tomatoes. They pick tomatoes when they're green. So they're not even fully developed yet. So you're not going to get the full vitamin benefits of a tomato than if you grabbed one out of your own garden.
Right.
So we're big on victory gardens. We do a victory garden workshop at the farm to show people, okay, what is a victory garden? How did they come about? They came about in World War I and World War II. Before the industrial system of food in this country, the concern was we weren't going to be able to feed our troops with the food that was being grown. So they asked people to start growing their own. Asked them to start raising their own chickens. An egg that from a chicken that you raise is 10 times more beneficial than an egg you buy at the store. So you can't just say eggs are eggs. Things are
And
radiated,
that's
they're bleached.
exactly the truth.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. Mhm.
So these are ways that we're trying to move forward with I guess a healthy lifestyle for everybody.
And a holistic, maybe
Holistic,
more holistic.
yeah, more holistic, and led by veterans, and helping veterans kind of reconnect to nature by getting jobs out in the sun, in the field, growing food, helping farmers continue. And one of the things we've been trying to do is partnering farms with veterans and having veterans live on those farms. So having housing available for vets on farms is something that we're kind of helping strive for, because that could help everybody in the long run.
Definitely. And just to kind of wrap things up, this has been so fascinating. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
How do you feel this all kind of relates to your spirituality and your belief in the Lord or God or what
Sure.
you do believe?
Well, I'm not really a big churchgoer, so to speak, but I do believe in the Creator and our Lord. I think a lot of things have been, I guess, used for and manipulated over the years through various churches and whatnot. So I don't particularly believe in that hard line specifics. I just believe in like the good message of helping our fellow mankind,
And love one another.
love one
and
another.
love
Yeah, and treat
Lord.
people how you want to be treated, and do righteous and be righteous, because these are the things that the Lord asks for in the Bible. And cultivating the land was a big thing, and it's quite beneficial for the future. So I think this is a purpose that I was set on by God, and to help others, and to utilize the skills that my family have gained over the years through culinary arts and
What
through
about
farming.
the skills of who you are? What are some of those? Like as far as your attributes,
Well, I'm a pretty outgoing person. I like to work with folks. I mean, I've done a number of different things over the years. From I was on city council in the city Beacon for a couple of years, and was very much involved. Of course, I'm a veteran, so I was in the Army. I've worked for the school district. I've worked, I was in a union before, so I know a lot of different things out there. I've cooked, for countless years, and I was a salesman in New York City, selling technologies and fiber optics. So, there's a lot of knowledge that comes with that,
Right.
and I'm trying to take all of that and really package it into one to help others, and to show them, some of the benefits of the slow life, living, and healing through sun, soil, and ancestral foods, which is our tagline at the Veterans
That's
Farmstead.
great. Well, I just want to thank you, Justin. It's been a wonderful time spending with you. And everybody, you're going to hear great things from Justin Riccobono.
Thank you.
Once again, how can people reach you?
Sure. If you guys want to get in touch with us, you can check our website out at vetfarms.org. That's vetfarms.org. Or you could give us a call at, my name is Justin Riccobono. I'm the executive director of the Veterans Farmstead. And my phone number I can be reached at is area code 845-202-2398. You could also email me at justin@vetfarms.org. And, if you have any ideas or think you can contribute, or, of course, we're looking for volunteers. We're looking for funding. If people are looking to do donations, we're happy to help. Or if people are interested in some new programming, which, I know this is something we've talked about, Lori, about
Yes,
doing
I
some
think
other
it's
new
gonna
programming
be,
to
should we let our
collaborate.
ideas out? Or, I mean,
We could talk about some of
yeah,
them.
why don't we talk about it and wrap it up with something so positive? So, Justin and I have been very aligned on. He has a beautiful. Well, it's not exactly beautiful as of yet, but if you envision it, it's beautiful. A barn on his beyond beautiful 5-acre land. And Justin and I were speaking about having it renovated into a home of holistic healing,
Right.
and have it faith-based and also holistically based, and also kind of Western Eastern philosophy, and
Sure.
have all kinds of modalities, therapies, and that's what we're working on getting funding on right now. And we've been blessed to have some networking opportunities, so we'll be pursuing those. Anything you want to wrap it up with?
All I could say is keep the faith, and get outside, get in the sun, and maybe get in the garden, start gardening. Try to, even if you could do a little plot, if you don't have land on your own property, you could do bucket gardening, which is like a 5-gallon bucket. You could grow tomatoes in that or peppers, but at least start somewhere, and start reading those labels on your food. There's a good app that I use. It's called Yuka,
Yeah,
Yuka. It's an app, and you could scan any barcode of all the food, and it'll kind of give you, the benefits, the pros and the cons of the food. So on a scale of 1 to 100, it'll give a rating, and it'll also give you an alternative, of quality food. It's free, so you could download that. I mean, that's a good step in the right direction as far as healthy eating, which of course translates to a healthy mind.
And a healthy heart and a healthy spirit.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Lori.